Hey, this is Cosmo, and I tell you what, my good friend Tim Brown is with me. I should say downtown Tim Brown. It's taken me 8 years to say that again, but what would you do if you met the celebrity crush of your life? How would you deal with it? Tim actually had an episode, as we used to call Tim, and I think, Tim, you said it yourself, you were Mr. Marsha Brady. You met
Mm-hmm.
Maureen McCormick. Now, it's been a while. Here's the way I kind of remember it in my head. You tell me if I'm off base here. We were riffing one day about our celebrity crushes, and we all knew that you liked Maureen McCormick from the Brady Bunch. And we were talking about it for a while. And then that afternoon, I think you called me up and said, "You're not going to believe this, but Maureen McCormick has a relative that lives in Burlington." And that's where the ball started, correct?
Yeah, well, it was kind of like an ongoing thing. I would just talk about my crush, and I really did have a crush on her, but it was a running gag and talk
Sure.
about Marsha Brady. And I was always a big fan, and in fact, I got an email from Maureen McCormick's mom because some of the cousins had heard me talking about Marsha so many times, and I got a nice email from Irene McCormick and detailing all the relatives that they're related to in the Burlington area. And Maureen did not grow up in Burlington, but the way, if I remember correctly, her older brothers did. So they lived in Burlington at one point. But Maureen was born, I think, out in California.
Okay, so you just brought something back to me. I didn't think that there were more than just the aunt that lived there. So that's kind of cool. There was more than one person.
Oh yeah, there was. I mean, there was a whole. I wish I still had the email, but I think the server crashed, and I lost it. But there was, I want to say, a couple of dozen people. And the reason why Marie McCormick was coming back to Burlington that day is because she'd been to a wedding, I think in Minnesota. She was coming down to visit relatives in Burlington. There was quite a few of them.
Okay. So between the start of the email and her getting to Burlington, how long did it take? Because obviously it wasn't a 5 minute process.
Oh, I don't know. It was like, uh, let's see, I started at KGRS in 1990, and I didn't meet Marie until 2002. So it was 12 years. It took a while.
We kept saying one day it's going to happen.
Yeah, and I never really ever thought it was going to happen either.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, the night that I got a call from the radio station, it was Patrick Noon who said that one of the cousins had called and that Maureen was going to be in town. I did not believe it because, as you know, do you believe anybody at the radio station when they're ragging on you about anything? Do you ever believe, they're always pranking on you? Do you believe anything? No, I was very skeptical until he gave me the cousin's name and number, and I called, and she confirmed that yes, Maureen was going to be in town, and that's when I said, okay. Now I don't know what she's going to be doing. I think she was going to be going to antique stores. I said, if there's any way she has extra time and would like to stop by the radio station, I would love to put her on the air or just chat or whatever. So I just threw that out there and it happened.
Now, I remember vividly the one thing, she came in the afternoon on your show. I
Mm-hmm.
had left the station. It wasn't formalized at that point. I went to work out. I think I taught class at the Y, got home, and then you called. She's going to be here in a few minutes. This is going to be so awesome. Right?
Yeah, and I really didn't know what time. I didn't even really know for sure if she was going to come. And I just remember somebody, I'm not, I think maybe it was Steve Stabell, came back and said, hey, she's here. And that's when I had this overwhelming, weird feeling like, have you ever seen the girls fainting during Beatlemania?
Sure.
All of a sudden, and we have met a lot of celebrities like at Riverfest, Steamboat Days, the rodeo. So it's not like I've never seen a celebrity before, but this was like, for some reason, I was just overwhelmed with emotion. So I was
Well,
like one
I
of
mean,
those teen girls.
don't you think, though, after this period of time that you were kind of working on this and everything just kind of, collaborated to that moment, that's why you were probably overwhelmed, no?
Probably. I just, it was very surreal. It was just, I mean, I was floating. I mean, I can't describe the feeling. It was
Well,
wonderful.
I could tell you from a firsthand experience, even though it wasn't me, how people react with celebrities. So you're not the only one. I'll vividly remember, and she'll never live this down as long as I live. I had tickets to see NSYNC when NSYNC was NSYNC, really big.
Mhm.
And I think Lindsay was 11 and Elisa was 9 or 12 and 10, around that ballpark. And I got them backstage passes, and NSYNC did everything, and their management did everything really cool. It was a line. You get an autograph with one person. They can't take pictures with everybody. If you want to take a picture while you're in line, great, no problem. And we're in line, and Lindsay gets to Justin Timberlake, and she says, "Justin, I love you." And I'm like, where's my introverted daughter? What the heck happened there? And it just Justin Timberlake's credit, he said, I love you too. Thanks for coming. And he was very cool about it. It was a really sweet moment, but all night I'm kind of looking over what happened there. You know what I mean? So it was kind of cool. And to your credit, along with Maureen McCormick, she played along really well and was a true pro and very cool person.
It was very nice she was just as nice as the character she portrayed on the Brady Bunch. She was just very gracious with her time. And in fact, when she left, I wasn't going to ask her for an autograph, but she asked me if I had an extra piece of paper. And I said, sure. And she wrote me a nice note and signed it. And that it was just, and I have it framed.
So, can you say what it said?
It was nice meeting you. You're so sweet, blah, blah. It was kind of sickening sweet, but I loved it. So
yeah. On another hand too, when you meet that celebrity, might not be a crush, it's really interesting how people react in different situations. Another time, as a matter of fact, Amy Grant had kicked off, I think it was her 1995 tour, 94 tour at the Mark in the Quad Cities. And I surprised the girls who are big Amy Grant fans. I got them backstage, and my wife was with us. And usually the road managers to bands, as you all know, are not the nicest persons in the world. This guy was, "Hey, would you mind doing the introduction?" The girls didn't know what was going on. We knock on the door, and Amy Grant opens up the door, and both of my daughters are like, "Oh, come on in. You guys want something to eat or drink?" And I said, "Oh, I really appreciate it. We just ate." And at that point, her kids were about as old as my kids, and my kids start playing with her kids. She's talking to Deb, my wife, about, where she bought their clothes, et cetera, da, da, da. And I'm realizing, this doesn't happen often at all. So I said, "Hey, I really appreciate your time. Can we just get a picture and an autograph? We'll let you, get ready for the show." "Oh, sure, da, da, da." And the funniest thing was, we walk out of the room and my wife goes, "I hate that woman." And I'm like, "What?" I said, "Do you realize the odds of us doing that? That's like a gazillion to one. Our kids are playing with her kids." My wife goes, "Did you notice how beautiful she looked without a stitch of makeup?" And I did everything a smart husband would do. I said, "Come on, kids, let's get to our seats."
Good job. Good job.
That's the way, it was. If we're lucky here, I can play a snippet of
Handsome DJ, I have.
Oh yeah.
And maybe it didn't go through, but maybe another time we can do that. But Tim, I really appreciate you being on today and sharing the Maureen McCormick experience. And best wishes to you and Heidi.
Well, thank you for thinking of me, Cos. I appreciate it.
Have a great day, buddy. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. All right, that did it. Thank you so much.
Yep.
I tried to get that on there. Maybe I'll download part of it and make it a quick video. That might be the best thing. But anyway, how's everything else in Burlington? Okay.
Oh, it is fine. We haven't gotten any snow yet, but it's on the way tomorrow. We're overnight tonight.